Happy Monday. Welcome to the weekly vlog and also the first vlog on my new camera. If you don't know, I work at a camera store and last week I actually won a contest and I won a Sony a6700. So that's going to be my new camera for vlogging, which I'm excited about. At least for the talking portions, my B-roll is still going to be on my phone because I don't want to bring a camera around absolutely everywhere that I go. And I am too shy of a person to take out a camera on the city bus. So at least all of us chit-chatting will be on nicer quality. Also, I've got Tony here. Be a little cutie pie. I don't think I really have any plans this week. I'm hoping for a nice, chill, cozy time at home. Last week, I fully deleted and restarted my Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I've been obsessed with Animal Crossing again in the last few days, and it's a great thing to be doing while I listen to audiobooks. So I do foresee that continuing, and I'll be getting in a lot of audiobook reading in the next little while. For my current reads, if Storygraph wants to load, I have two reads right now. So first is Walking Practice by Dolki. This one I started this morning over audio and I'm loving it so far. It is ridiculous. It's about this shape-shifting eldritch alien monster who is living on Earth and uses dating apps to go and hunt their prey, enjoys their human while they have them, and then consumes them and takes their bodies home to make into various recipes, soups and stews and such. It is disgusting and it does not shy away from the details of the cooking aspect of things. So it's really gross. It would be gross for anyone to read, but it's especially gross for someone who's been vegetarian for most of their life. The concept of meat is already a disgusting thing to me, and I don't like reading about descriptions of meat, but especially when that meat is human. So it's definitely a lot, but it's also weirdly hilarious, and I'm having a great time with this book. It is so absurd, and if you are going to pick this one up, I highly suggest the audiobook because the narrator is doing an incredible job. Because this alien is able to shapeshift, they're still kind of learning how to appear human, and they often lack the strength to hold their form into a perfect human body, so they end up with like toes coming out of their forehead and legs appearing randomly, and their vocal cords kind of start to melt a little bit, so their voice often falters, and the narrator of the audiobook does a phenomenal job at having that portrayed. It is weird and disturbing and so perfect, and yeah, this is just a fantastic little book so far. It's very short. The audiobook at regular speed is only about 4 hours, and I'm listening to it at 2.5 times speed, so I'm actually already more than halfway through it, and we'll definitely be finishing that one up later on today. And then I'm also reading Flamboyants by George M. Johnson, which is a nonfiction about the queer Harlem Renaissance. I'm doing a tandem read with the audiobook and the ebook because the ebook has some beautiful illustrations in it and the audiobook has some really cool music and sound effects that I'm really enjoying. So far, this one is also lovely. I'm having a great time with that one as well. And then I do also want to start my next read, which is going to be probably a physical book, but I have my whole stack of sequels that I put on my TBR for this month, so I'm probably going to pick one of those ones. Today's my day off, so I'm just going to be chilling on the couch. I normally go to the gym on my days off and go and be productive and do errands and stuff, but I just want to have a day where I don't have to do anything. Although it is actually kind of nice out and I probably should go outside and go for a walk. The sun is actually out. I haven't seen the sun in weeks. It's the time of year where it's just really overcast, and it's also a little bit warmer today than it has been for the last couple of weeks. I think today is only supposed to be about like minus 18 or so, which is sad thinking that minus 18 is not that cold, but compared to the last couple of weeks where it's been upwards of minus 35, I'll take what I can get. So less than minus 20 and the sun is out, sounds like I should probably go outside and enjoy the sunshine while I can, but will I actually do that? Actually, maybe, because I do really need groceries. I am out of most of my ingredients, actually. I have no idea what I'm going to be able to have for dinner because I don't really have any food. But I also really don't want to go to the grocery store. So we'll see what ends up happening. I might go out later on. I might not. Who knows? Anyways, I'm going to pick a book, get back on the couch, and chill for at least a little while. I think it's maybe around lunchtime. Yeah, it's like 1:30, so I'll probably make lunch pretty soon, and I also need to film a couple of videos today. I need to do my January wrap-up and maybe one other video, but I haven't decided which one yet. But I'm gonna stop yapping, go get those things done, and we will chat later on in the week. weekly vlog. How we doing? It is Wednesday. I feel like this lighting is probably terrible, but I'm working with what I've got. With a new camera, I have a new little light thing that I got recently. I don't know what I'm doing, so we're gonna play around with stuff. It'll look bad for a while. It is what it is. Also, hello from Tony back here. I have had a lovely couple of days. Well, actually, yesterday was not a great day at work. It was very overwhelming. There was a lot of noise at work all day, and I had a headache, and I was very overwhelmed and overstimulated, that is for damn sure. Today though was lovely. My friend came over for a few hours just to hang out and chat and catch up, and then we sat and just read together for like 45 minutes at the end of our hangout, and it was so nice to just sit down with someone and read and not feel pressured to talk. It was lovely, and the book that I am reading is Heated Rivalry, and I'm having a blast with this book. I am currently on page 101, and I fear the obsession is continuing. Also, I have a little peach bookmark because butts. It was too perfect not to go for this one. But yeah, the action is just getting started in this one, and it is spicy. Oh my god. And I love their banter so much. They're so funny together. Just they're shoving each other and calling each other names and purposely trying to annoy each other, and it is so freaking funny. So I can't wait to continue this one later on tonight. And then over audio, I've also started reading Starsight by Sanderson, the sequel to Skyward at long last. I'm currently 60% of the way through and having a pretty good time with it. I'm using this book as a way to decide if I want to continue the series or not, and I think I probably will, depending on how this ends. I like this book. I liked the last book quite a bit, but I haven't loved either of them. Plot-wise, though, I do like book 2 a lot better than book 1. This is my kind of vibe. I love kind of meeting a whole bunch of different kinds of alien races and getting to know each other. I think that's really fun, so I'm definitely having a good time with this one so far. And things that I finished in the last couple of days, I finished reading Walking Practice by Dolki, and I gave this one a 4.5 star. It was incredible. This is for sure one of the best horror novels that I've read in quite a while, and I'm not even sure if I would really classify it as horror. It's definitely a body horror, but the contents of the plot, aside from, the murder and eating people, isn't really a horror. It's more so an exploration of self and loneliness and how that kind of relates to the queer experience as well. And it was a fascinating read. It was hilarious and absurd. The audiobook was absolutely incredible. One of the best audiobook performances that I've ever listened to. It was phenomenal. And yeah, it was overall such a good book. I'm giving it a 4.5 star instead of a 5 because I do think this would have benefited from being just a little bit longer. Give it an extra, even just 30 pages would have been so much better and kind of given the author more room to explore the character more. And I felt like the end was a little bit abrupt as well, but aside from that, this was a fantastic read, and I highly recommend it if you are okay with body horror. It was quite gross, so if you can handle that, definitely pick it up. And then lastly, I've also finished reading Flamboyants by George M. Johnson, and also had a wonderful time with this book. I learned quite a bit and took so many screenshots of different artists and musicians that I want to look up and get more into. I don't really have much to say on this book because I have a hard time talking about nonfiction. That's why I don't give it ratings, but it was a great read, so definitely recommend that one as well. But those are all the updates for right now. I do kind of want to start an ebook, but I'm trying to make myself just stick with 2 books at a time, but I do like having 1 book of each format, so we'll see. I might start an ebook, no idea what. It might end up being a mood read, so we'll see if I can manage to pick one, and we'll go from there. But I'm gonna get cozy in bed. I've had a headache for the last couple of hours, but I still had to go out and do groceries after my friend left, and walking through a Walmart with a headache is a bad time. So I'm gonna lay down, probably switch between reading Heated Rivalry and playing Animal Crossing while listening to Starsight. I think that'll be the rest of my night. I was supposed to go to the gym today, but I really don't feel like it, so I'm just gonna go after work tomorrow. And I go lay down now. I'll talk to you later. Hello, everybody. I'm having quite the week. Full transparency, I am not doing very well, to be completely honest. I'm fine, mostly. I've reached out to my therapist. I'm gonna be going back to therapy soon. I'll be alright. I'm just having a time. I know I'm far from the only one who is just very affected by the state of the world recently, and just all of it, every part of the world, it just feels like it's garbage right now, but particularly of the many things that have just made me feel like my soul has been beaten to a pulp. Every single social media app that I've been using recently has been flooded with very graphic images from the Epstein files. And I didn't want to see that. Like, of course, it's important to be aware of what's going on in the world and staying involved in politics. However, what I didn't need to see was images from that. And it has sent me in a complete spiral. So I'm not doing too hot right now, but I'll be seeing my therapist soon so I can talk about it and hopefully get out of this funk that I'm in. Not every week is going to be a good week, and that is okay sometimes. But given that I'm not currently in therapy, the biggest thing that I do to make myself feel better is just pure escapism. So I have been reading plenty this week. So let's talk about that and not depressing things. My current reads, I've got 2 things on the go right now. I am still making my way through Heated Rivalry, and this is bringing me every single ounce of joy that I can muster. I am getting very close to the end. I'm currently on page 275. I'll most likely be finishing this one up tomorrow, and I can't wait for it, but I also don't want it to end. This is everything that I want right now. The spicy scenes are of course fantastic, but it's the feelings and the yearning and all of that is what I'm really here for, and especially the part where I'm at right now. It's so good because, guys, we are at the cottage and I am losing my fucking mind. Even though I know what's going to happen because I've seen the show twice now, I'm still just giddy reading this, and I'm so happy. And then my other current read is The Enchanted Hacienda by J.C. Cervantes, which is a magical realism romance about a woman who's part of a magical family. The magic skipped her, basically Encanto for adults. Her family owns this magical flower farm. She's also a struggling author. She's going through a big breakup, like her whole life is falling apart. She's staying on her family's farm for a little while, and while she's there she meets a man and things go from there. I'm mostly enjoying this one. I love almost every single aspect of this book. I love the main character, I love her family, her friendships, the magic is really cool, I love the farm, I love all of the stuff that happened with the breakup and her trying to be a writer and all these things. I think all of this is so good. It's just the romance. I really don't care about the romance at all. I don't feel the chemistry between these characters whatsoever. I don't care enough about the male main character to have any opinion of him at all. The romance, to me at least, really just feels like it's there because books that don't have romance in it don't sell as well, and so the author kind of put it in there to make it sell. But I feel like this book would have stood well enough on its own without the romance in it, because every other aspect of this book is so interesting and so well done and well crafted. It's beautifully written in every other part of this aside from the romance. So it'll likely still get a 4-star, but I'm 51% of the way through that one right now, so I'm hoping to finish that up tomorrow morning, and maybe in the second half of the book the romance will come around for me and I'll end up really enjoying it. But at the very least, I am still loving everything else about this book, so even if I don't like the romance, that is a-okay with me. I'm still having a good time. What have I finished this week? I finished Starsight by Sanderson. I gave that one a 4-star. This was so much fun. I had a blast with this book. I definitely liked it better than the first book in terms of the plot, and I liked the main character a bit better. I really had a hard time with her in the first book because she's so dramatic and theatrical. She's a big fan of all of the classic hero stories, and she frequently quotes them and tries to embody them and just fully embraces being weird and quirky and dramatic, which I can appreciate. I love when people are just weird. That brings me a lot of joy, but YA books where the main character is dramatic like that, I don't normally like, and this one is not an exception, unfortunately. But book 2 was much better. She still had that dramatic flair to her, but it was toned down a little bit more, where her personality is still shown without being grating and annoying. So that was great, but the plot of this especially was really up my alley. The main character went to some other planet, and she was meeting a whole bunch of different species of aliens for the first time, and they were all very unique and creative and super interesting, and I had so much fun with this book. It was kind of everything that I love about sci-fi. This ended up being a fantastic read. I really enjoyed it, and I actually am planning on carrying on with the rest of the series as well now. And actually reading this book, I was still in the mood for sci-fi afterwards, so I ended up finally, for the first time in my life, watching the first Star Wars movie. I've seen one Star Wars movie because I made a rookie mistake, and I thought that episode 1 of Star Wars was the first movie, and that was incorrect. So I watched episode 1, not knowing that episode 4 is the first one. So I finally watched Star Wars A New Hope the other night, and it was excellent. Oh my god, it was so good. I had a blast with it, and I'm planning on carrying on with the franchise shortly. But yeah, I feel like there was something else that I read this week, but according to my story graph, there is not. So I think that's it. Aside from the mental spiral that I'm in right now, I've also had a lovely week. I went to my friend's house tonight and we made banana bread together and we just chatted and caught up. It was a lovely, much needed evening. That was great. But I think that's all that I had to say right now. I have to go and finish editing a video that was supposed to go out today, but I didn't have the time for it. So it'll go out tomorrow instead. It is fully edited. I just have to go and like rewatch it and look for any mistakes and then make the thumbnail. And then after that, I'll be going to bed. I'm very tired and ready for sleep. So, but I will hopefully finish one of my 2 reads before the end of tomorrow, at which point I will update to wrap things up. So until then, I'll talk to you later. It's Wednesday of the following week already, and I am late in both posting this and even just wrapping it up. I'm sick, if you can't tell by my voice, so things have been a little slow going for this week. Haven't even introed next week's vlog yet. Things are late, and that's fine. It is what it is. No one's gonna die. But I do have some reading updates. So at the end of my last update, I was in the middle of 2 books. First up was the Enchanted Hacienda, which I finished on Sunday, and I ended up giving that one a 3.5 star. My feelings are largely the same. I really enjoyed the vast majority of this book, but the romance was completely unnecessary in my opinion. I really didn't fall for the romance at all, even towards the end of the book, and I still stand by that there was so much good about this book that it could have stood on its own without the romance in it. The main character becomes friends with an elderly couple. They're the grandparents of the love interest, and like if this book had just been about like their friendship and what they were doing and all those things and everything else about this book with all the magic and the farm and the writing and everything else, this would have been so good and probably could have gotten upwards of a 5 star. I love books that include friendships with elderly people. It always gets me and warms my little heart, and I love it so much, but the romance really took away from that for me, sadly. So I gave it a 3.5 star, which is still a great rating, but it just could have been a lot higher. But I still had a good time, so overall I'm not mad that I read it. And then with Heated Rivalry, I finished that one technically on Monday, but I'm just gonna include it in this week's vlog. I've already put it back on my shelf and I don't want to get up and go and get that, so I'm just not gonna hold it up. But you know what the cover looks like. I've been showing it off literally all week. It's like half my b-roll is Heated Rivalry. So but yeah, I finished that one on Monday morning, and oh my god, this book was everything to me. I gave it a full 5 stars. That is an extremely biased rating. I think I said the same with book 1, where like if I was rating this more objectively, it would probably, this one I would say would be like a 4.5 or a 4. But the amount of joy that this book brought me, I had to give it a full 5 stars. It had me crying and laughing and kicking my feet and giggling. This was truly everything that I needed in this moment. I loved absolutely everything about it. I love these characters so much. And I know that Ilya and Shane do have another book, but it's not until book 6. I have to read 3 more books to be able to get back to them, and I'm sad about that, but I'm not going to skip ahead. I'm going to read them all in order, but I am very tempted to just skip ahead to book 6. So I won't do it, but I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I think that is all that I've got to say, so thank you as always for coming along for the weekly vlog. I hope you also had a good week, and if you're also in a funk because of the state of the world, know that you are not alone, and I hope that you've got people that you can rely on. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.